From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, how are you today? You ready for another good episode?
Oh, I'm doing good, Steve. And how about yourself?
Doing well. I, it's looking forward to chatting today about continuation. We touched on our last episode about AI, and I know that that's a pretty trending topic these days. So why not talk about it a bit? You had talked a little bit about your um, doing some coursework on it, or you're doing some research. What are you finding about AI that you didn't know, and how might it apply to our world?
Um, so I'll admit I came in thinking AI, and I beat this drum online for a long time of AI right now is just really, really, really good programming. And I stand by that with a asterisk. I still think it's really, really good programming, and we're not seeing the true AI as we feel we would really get with AI, but I have expanded my knowledge of AI and realizing it's definitely more than just really, really good programming, because programming is very linear, this, then that. Where AI takes a lot of that out of the equation, because I know I mentioned this on the last episode, the GPS. That's a good way to look at like programming. When we program like for a GPS, if we do linear, you have to throw every single variation into your program, which then makes it bloatware and makes it all the stuff we talked about. And you throw a lot of different combinations in, and you have to account for all of them. Where AI can actually run each scenario quicker and provide what it believes is the best solution, um, and gives you other options to go with that. And as I mentioned last episode, that's where we need to really understand what AI is AI is not the end all to be all. It is, here is what I think is the best solution. It'll never give you 100%. It'll give you a weighted error, say maybe 80%, 90% of this is most accurate, but it's always gives you, well, there's other options here. And us, the users, need to make the informed decision.
Sure. I think what I've learned, and I've done also um, more delving into how to apply AI to my business and how we can use AI to streamline our development. And sometimes that could be used to get projects done quicker or be able to make them more affordable or more profitable. All of those things I think are important to business. And what I found is that your point is that you need to understand that the skill comes into how to use the AI to your advantage. It's there, and we can get a lot of information out of it. It's certainly going to be time savings, but you have to know how to query it, and you have to know that what you're getting back is what you're expecting or that it's relevant. And then you need to know what to do with it after that. So that it's not going to do the work for you per se. It may get you get the work done quicker, but it's also something that is going to be a skill to know how to harness the power of it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I don't even know where I heard this, but I heard it somewhere that we're going to start seeing future job posting as AI prompt engineer,
Mm-hmm.
meaning people who can write proper prompts to AI and get the right answers out. Um, I'm definitely not one of them right now, but
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be a skill. I 100% agree with you there.
And I think that is going to exist both on the side of doing it on a human level, like a chat GPT or a similar solution. And it's also going to be done on a programming level where you're sending calls to AI through an API to get information that you're looking for. Um, what I know that we're seeing it be more prevalent in software that's able to um, give you some automation. Let's say it, maybe you have it for scheduling, or maybe you have it to help get content done quicker, or it gives you some predictive results. Where do you see it happening in the AV world? What I know a little bit of it is happening where you can auto set up a room, let's say. That's one example.
Yeah, I definitely see that out there, oh, hit this button and it sets up the room. And as I always say is, what if it doesn't work? And then I always get the question, what do you mean if it doesn't work? Well, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't tune the room correctly? Or another big one I see a lot of people talk about is the AI tracking cameras. And I don't know about you, but I got mixed feelings about those. I understand the purpose behind them, but I think they missed the mark of, like, say if I'm an instructor and I walk in front of the whiteboard and I'm writing on the whiteboard and I want my class to work on what I just wrote on the whiteboard and I go back over to the lectern, the camera's following me and not saying the lectern. I don't want the camera to follow me. The problem is that AI cannot read our minds.
Hmm.
Um, but we want it to. That's the thing. We want it to sit there and be like, well, you should know what I'm thinking. Now, unfortunately, AI can't. Until we get those brains implants put in, AI will never know what we are truly thinking. And I think those are where we're missing the mark. We want a solution for, hey, I'm a faculty member. I want my students to work on this problem on the whiteboard. Now I'm going to go over, go check my email on the computer. I want the camera to stay on the whiteboard. The camera is not going to know that yet, unless maybe I give it a clue saying, hey, stay on the whiteboard. But then means I, as a user, need to say that. I need to tell it that. Again, I need to give it that clear direction, clear, concise direction. And until, again, it goes back to it's not a mind reader. It doesn't know, but we expect it to.
Hmm. I the other part too is that I would be curious when it starts to be able to learn habits, and that we could make it do what you're saying. Is that I know that at this time, or this user likes things a certain way, and it can be able to accommodate that because it has learned from the past that this is the way that a room always gets used. At, so it's watching patterns.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. And that's where I kind of chop it up to good programming, because you can do that with very good programming. Um, no, okay, this time, Sam, this is always happening. Let's flag that as a repeat and we'll go that route. But like I said, it's what if I come in and I don't want that day. It's an odd day. I'm in a different type of mood and I want to change up. If I don't have the controls to do that, then the system's not working for us. So yeah, you can throw the controls in, but sometimes people just want to throw AI and solve everything, or automation. I'll get even
Hmm.
away from the whole AI and talk about automation there. And then they get upset when the automation didn't do what I wanted to do, even though I didn't give it the right information. It
I,
goes back to our first episode last time of data. It's all about the right data. I understand the right data. And that's where I feel AI is valuable, is taking the unstructured data that we see in the daily lives and processing it and giving us a informed decision to help us, or giving us information to help us make an informed decision.
And if you haven't listened to episode 162, go back and check that. That's what we're referring to as our previous episode. We talked about system monitoring, and it bled over a bit into an AI conversation, and certainly about how to manipulate data. So check that out. Um, I think that what you're saying makes a lot of sense. What I've always said is that you have to have a on-off switch for anything that's automated. You can't necessarily, and also adjustments. If you can't expect that everybody's going to always want the same um, response, the same routine all the time. And especially when you're working in a system that is going to be used by many different users for many different applications. If it's your home, it's one thing, but if it's your personal system, it's one. But when you're trying to make something that is universal enough to accommodate a lot of use cases and a lot of different users, there's certainly a need to be able to defeat automation and probably be able to make adjustments or have different profiles. I mean, that probably would be a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, adjustment, different profiles. uh, They definitely are help. I mean, again, we got to make the AI automation, whatever term we're looking at, um, fit in our environment and, work for us. It should be the technology needs to be um not a stressful point. Like it should just work for us, how we need it to. And I should not have to think or stress over it. And
Mhm.
that's probably the hardest part of our lives is trying to make ours as programmers, try to make systems that are um what word am I looking for? A very easy to use without
Intuitive.
causing stress. Yeah, even intuitive is a bad one because what it's intuitive to me doesn't mean
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
intuitive
I
to
don't like
you.
that word, but I thought
Yeah.
maybe that's what you were going after.
No, I forget what it's like. Not a stress, like a stress free. I forget the term word I'm looking for. It's gonna come to me off air. I know it.
Don't stress about it.
Yeah. Listeners, you probably know what I'm talking about. Hit us up. Let me know what I'm missing.
Before we wrap this one up, do you see us being able to use AI as a way of making AV more effective in terms of whether it's to save time on a project or um, some ways of being able to uh, maybe overcome mistakes or solve some of the challenges that we face in the AV world with getting people that are that like we always are looking to bring more people into the industry and and the and be able to address needs in a better way.
There's a lot to unpack on that one.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
do I could see if we get AI brought into our industry, it could be a good way to bring different folks in because it's gonna entice different folks. It's another marketing tool we can say, hey, come join the AV field because you get to play with AI.
hmm,
Yes, I can see that to a point. Um, can it help us solve problems? Yes, if we know what our problems are. Right now, AI is just going to give us predictive answers to data. As long as we're feeding it the right data and we can have an informed decision off that data, then the AI is going to help us. It might make it quicker. Um, Hopefully that's the whole point of it is to try to make it quicker for us. Which actually I kind of find funny is us humans came out with computers to make work go quicker so we have more time to do the more fun stuff like family and all that stuff, but we actually just tend to spend more time on the computers anyway. That is AI just going to do the same thing? We think AI is going to take a lot of the burden off of us, is it just gonna change and we're still gonna have a lot of burden on us? I still love the one thing I heard was talking about AI, and they were saying that the people who are concerned about AI, it's like, oh, AI is going to take my job, all that stuff, are not the ones who really can benefit from AI. The people who are benefiting, who can benefit from AI, at least AI right now, are the boots on the ground who are doing multiple work, who are overworked and stressed, wearing multiple hats, and they're the ones yelling, "Yes, AI, come over and take my job because I'm doing too much as is anyway."
Yeah, my take on that, just to comment, and I'll help fill in some of the other things. And I know I asked a very complex question, but uh, but my take on that is the ones that are going to probably be passed by are the ones that don't invest in AI, and the everybody else, as long as you're investing in AI and using it to your advantage and making it a part of your workflow and your strategy, you'll still be needed. You just it's the ones that disregard it, similar to those who didn't way back when adopt computers or adopt mobile or adopt the internet. I think that's this the same thing with AI. But one application I could think of is imagine having an AI to do troubleshooting, and if you were able to um, get it to understand your system, and then when something went wrong, could you say this isn't working? What are some things I should check?
That would be good, but I see, and this is a conversation I had with someone the other day, and this is where I like your idea, I like your thinking, but also I know, especially now as a manager, I'm seeing this firsthand. We all troubleshoot differently. How I troubleshoot a system and I is different than how my team troubleshoots it. As long as we're getting to the end result and getting the problem solved, okay, it's great. We're both troubleshooting the correctly, but even though we're doing differently. So AI, if we use it for troubleshooting, who are we using and giving it that data to say this is how you troubleshoot a system? Are we doing it the way I troubleshoot it? Are we doing the way Steve troubleshoots it? Are we doing the way uh Vixa says we should troubleshoot? Like, who is
Hmm.
that governing body for the AI to say this is how you troubleshoot a system and these are what are potential way things that could be wrong?
Sure. Right. And I think what that might come down to is like you said about a engineer is you learn to be able to troubleshoot the way AI it does it so that and then that's how you could put it to best use. But I could just see it saving a whole lot of time because that's probably in my mind troubleshooting is the big skill and asset for a programmer, but also one of the things that can make you pull your hair out.
And I will end on this one with the troubleshoot because I know we talked about this is if that comes to tuition, yes, could it save time? I agree. Love that idea, but it's killing troubleshooting. And we talked about
I
how
got you.
we're killing troubleshooting because I see it now, just even in IT, not even looking at AI, but back the day when you got a virus on your computer, you figured out how to get that virus off. You did proper backup. If you have to load OS, you really got into the registries, all that stuff. Now you wipe the computer and just start fresh over. You hit
Yeah.
a button. And
Yeah.
the kids these days don't understand the troubleshooting of how to get that off of there. So could AI kill troubleshooting even more? Yes.
We should probably come back to that because I think that's a good conversation about maybe how we need to be evolving a bit because I don't disagree with you, but it may turn out that you don't need to have that skill to that level because it's now no longer relevant because of things like you just explained.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good one to come back to. And I think that there's a lot more to talk about with regard to AI, but we'll keep this one. We'll call this one at this point, but we will sure talk about it again in a future episode. And we welcome anybody who wants to come in and talk with us about their experience with AI also share any questions or any additional thoughts, or even have the conversation with us. James, how could people get in touch with you, learn more what you're up to, and continue this dialogue?
You can always find me on the internet. I'm AV_James King on Twitter or X now. LinkedIn, I'm out there. Writer for the Higher Digital Magazine, the IT and AV column. Anything with HEPMA. Again, Google me, you'll find me.
And you could check AI too to get the information on James,
Yes.
as well as me. Yeah, you can reach me on social media at Steve Greenblatt, my company, Control Concepts at controlconcepts.net. But appreciate you listening and working with us on a topic that none of us really know 100% about yet, but I think it's an important one for us to be discussing. So we look forward to continuing that in the future. Um, Infocom is coming up, so please look for us there. We'll be walking around and be glad to take some selfies with some listeners and talk about the show and give out some stickers. So please keep an eye out for us. And you can catch this show on YouTube in its video form or the audio version on your favorite podcast player. And we really like to hear from you. If you could share your favorite episode and also let us know what you want to hear more about. And until next time, this has been Ask the Programmer.